Hello, everybody, and welcome back again to Stourvale. And I've been alluding to it in the last couple of videos, and I have finally now taken the decision that I will be switching to N-Gage. Obviously, those of you that have followed me for a long time on the channel know that this is a bit of a age-old tussle that I've been deliberating about over the last couple of years. However, in the last year we've moved twice and we've downsized twice. And even when we had the first house where I sort of started back in the hobby again, the room where I had availability to run a railway wasn't really suitable. It was okay, but I couldn't get what I wanted. It was still quite cramped. The first thing I did was did a 8 foot by 4 foot modular layout, which turned out to be really hard work to achieve. It was difficult to set up on my own and was unreliable, so that quickly bit the dust. We then went to the spare sort of what was being used as my office stroke third bedroom. Now the problem with that was I had a layout running around the edge of the four walls, as you'll see from the earlier videos, but that was only 6 foot wide by 7'10" in length. So for double O gauge, it was obviously bigger than your standard sort of 4x6 track mat that you get in a Hornby set, but it still wasn't quite enough for what I wanted to achieve. So even when we was in that property, I was quickly coming to the conclusion of that what I wanted to achieve versus what I could realistically achieve was a great struggle. So that was probably the onset of some struggles. So it started there. Then obviously at the beginning of last year we moved, where we went from a 2-bed house to a 3-bed house to a 2-bed house. So there wasn't a dedicated room available anymore. So I went quite a while without a railway once we'd moved and settled in. And then I started working on the modular layout, which fitted into the really useful boxes. But again, size constraints and commitment, the issue of fitting what I could fit in with the space available again reared its head. So I wasn't really happy with what I achieved there. And then the circumstances come around where we had to then move again because with my job I managed to relocate. So just as I was finishing that up, the opportunity to relocate arose, and basically that was packed up. We had a period of time when we moved down here where we didn't have anywhere. We've now got somewhere, but that again now is a 2-bed flat. So again, there isn't the space. So it's been making me do the dilemma of playing on my mind again with switching to N-Gage. Now the reason in the past that I haven't was because I wasn't overly satisfied with the range in N-Gage. However, I would say the last year some of the releases have been better. Still a million miles away. I'd like it to be much better, but there is an element of it where I think it's improved enough that there's enough that would pique my interest. So with all of those factors combined, I've made the decision to switch to N. Now that means that a lot of the stock that you've seen in the last couple of videos in the Meet the Fleet, some of those are now have already gone. So I've gone to my local model shop where I live now, and they do second hand. So I've had the opportunity to trade in some of the locos for in-store credit, which I've got 2 locos which I'll do. I think I'm going to do sort of a video for per loco going forward. So, and I'll start to introduce you to the fleet that way as and when I build a collection. And I've also got a third one on order because they didn't have it in the store. So at the moment I'm only having to put a little bit, so it's working in my favour. The one that I'm going to show you today though is when I did make that decision. I have already got a starter set because obviously I've got nothing in it at the moment, and I've seen it from some of the YouTube videos where people have done it, and I must back up what they've said. So I've got the Western Rambler Engage set, which is a Class 57 XX with a couple of 5-plank wagons and a towed brake van. I've got to say I am immensely impressed with the quality straight away. It really does sort of hit home that there's good quality. And to be honest, in a ready to run set, I don't ever believe I've seen the same level of quality. In all fairness, I've only ever bought Hornby ones before in Double O. I've never really bought another manufacturer's one. But knowing that Bachmann stroke, obviously Graham Farish for Engage, generally tend to be better quality, I must say I'm really not disappointed, and anyone who is thinking of the same, I would really highly recommend the set. Brilliant entry point. Same as all the other standard sets, it's got a little DC controller, second radius curves and a couple of straights so that it can get you started, and like I said, the little loco. So it's in a lot of retailers it is quite competitively priced as well, because it's around about the £162 mark. If you were buying the loco on its own, you'd probably be paying about £120. Then probably about £15 to £20 for each of the wagons, and then the brake van. So in all honesty, I've bought it because I wanted the loco. So I've had a 57XX in Double O, and I just seen it and I wanted it, so that's what I've got. It's allowed me to get in, it's allowed me to get started, and what you'll see is where I am. I've actually got it, we've got a bit of a kitchen work surface where I've got it out, and it's just absolute dream that I can run it on there, because like I say, I am severely lacking space in the new flat, so this is brilliant. So I will give you a couple of pictures. So a picture of the box. I'm not going to unbox everything and make you watch that. There's plenty of other videos out there that will do that for you already. But a couple of pictures. I will do a couple of laps of the loco just for you to see it. And then what I've also done, actually, what you'll see as part of my due diligence before I did jump sort of both feet in effectively, is where I've sat down and worked out sizes. As you'll know, a lot of you will know, I've sort of always wanted to build a end of line country station, sort of train runs in, runs round, runs back out again, with a small little goods depot that would have been around at the end of sort of British Rail time, sort of 1940s, 50s sort of time. And the calculations I've done is based on that principle. So having a end of line station, and I've worked out the requirements in both double O and N gauge in terms of space that would be required, and that will be for a number of coaches for the train, a loco, and also head shunt to run round the train. And that, when you see that, as I did, it makes a no-brainer, because effectively one of my West Countries and 2 coaches with N gauge, I could probably fit 7 or 8 coaches and a tender loco. So it's an absolutely no-brainer in that sense. It is going to be difficult. It's going to be a challenge. It is going to be starting again, but hence why I am going to be obviously slowly over time transitioning, and also like I said, I've already traded in some of the locos that I had to get in-store credit. I've put some on eBay as well, so I'm going to sell some that way, generate some more money. So it is going to be a slower process, and one of the other rules that I am going to do with this one, being a bit older and wiser from when I first started about 5 years ago, is to I'm not going to buy as much, but what I am going to buy is going to be better quality. I'm not just going to buy something because it seems like too much of a good deal at the time, which is, if I'm putting my hands up, is what I've done. And even I will admit, over the double O collection, I have amassed 30 locos, which I've struggled to use. So I haven't got the space for that amount, but also I don't want that again in N. So I will be getting bits, but it's going to be a lot more thought of and thought out, and a lot more consideration. So yeah, I think that's that. You've probably had enough of me rambling now. Like I say, I'll put the pictures up of the box and the comparison sheets for sizes for stations, and then, like I say, a quick running video of the Western Rambler set that you get. Like I say, brilliant set, love it to bits already, and really looking forward to it. So thanks very much for everyone for sticking around and subscribing. Please do like, comment and subscribe, and I'll speak with you soon. Thanks very much, guys. Bye. This has already been running with the recommended manufacturer's running instructions, which in the box it recommends running the light engine for an hour in each direction. But yeah, I just absolutely love this. As you can see from the kitchen work surface, this is the big reason why I'm going to go to to N, because just couldn't do this with double O. It is just the amount of stuff you can fit in, really. So that's what I've done. This is the start of the N gauge collection. So yeah, there's going to be videos coming around soon. First thing that I'm going to do, in all honesty, is because Engage is new to myself as well, I am probably going to take my time to get things right. I think what I'm going to do is look at getting a little bit of board from B&Q or another specified retailer, where I can put some track down in a more permanent loop, so I don't have to keep building it. So it's just going to be ready to come and build a baseboard basically, but it's all already pre-done on there, so it's literally getting the baseboard, putting it on the side, plugging it in, putting the trains on, and off we go. Just because I need to get to grips with what I want to do in Engage, the time and expense that it's going to cost with transferring over, it's going to be really limited and basic for quite a while. But the longer term aim, when everything's a little bit more settled and money's been saved and all that sort of business, then I will look to create probably a more scenic scenic layout. I'm probably going to go back to the idea again of them in the really useful boxes, which I've used before, because I know that Scale Model Sceneries actually produce the baseboards that fit directly in them, and I really think that concept is going to work really well. That I could have something in there, it's going to be stored safe and it's going to be protected when it's not being used, and again should be sort of quick and easy to assemble when I do want to use it. So that's what's going through my head. That's what I'm going to be planning now, is looking at, like I say, the first one is probably going to be a loop on a board pretty similar to that, probably a bit bigger, because I want to test some theories out, and then work and go from there really. So like I said again, thanks very much for your support, it's really appreciated, and I will look forward to hearing from you all. Please do like, subscribe and comment, and until next time, I'll see you again. Thanks very much guys, take care.